of Puck to the trenches. It's time for Renegades of Puck TV. Welcome to the bunker. Welcome to the essence of No Half Steppin'. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier, and before we get started on the No Half Steppin' hockey coverage, I'd like to direct you to renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you get all of the access points and information, everything you need to know about the ROP, including our merchandise link. Once you click on that merchandise link, you'll find a magical collection of gimmicks. Yes, of course, we've got the basics. We've got our logo t-shirt, we've got our Pride logo t-shirt, and we've got all of our special event t-shirts from over the years. But then you start digging deeper and you find socks, throw pillows, bed sets, wall art, and just about everything else. The Renegades of Puck have over 55 items with their logo on it because we've sold out so you can buy in. We sure would appreciate, and it is of critical importance that you help us out on social media. Please, all you have to do is go to YouTube and give us a subscription. Once you see the newest episodes of Renegades of Puck TV on YouTube, we ask you to take those links and pass them along. Do that on your Facebook feed. If Facebook is not your preferred method of using social media, then please use Twitter to do so. You can find the Renegades of Puck at Renegades of Puck, and each of the individual members of the Renegades of Puck can also be found on Twitter and are highly interactive. You can also find the Renegades of Puck on Instagram, and for at least a little bit longer, you can find the Renegades of Puck on SoundCloud. But we will be moving our audio-only podcast to a brand new platform, and we are so looking forward to telling you more about that coming soon. We're really going to need your support on that brand new initiative, Renegades of Puck. And if you want to check out what's going on behind the scenes, we've got a great live stream community that we're building over there on Twitch. If you have any F-bombs, mistakes, second takes, they're only going to be seen on the Twitch stream. Once we get it all produced and made up for Renegades of Puck TV and put it on YouTube, you won't see any of that stuff. You get the information first, and you also get a feel for everything that happens in the bunker. It's not pretty, it's real broadcasting, and I love showing all of you just how it's made here on Renegades of Puck TV. Or if you'd like to become a partner of the Renegades of Puck, please go to Venmo and search Renegades of Puck. Or even easier than that, just scan the QR code that's currently on your screen right now. Every donation goes directly to the Renegades of Puck and helps the Renegades of Puck with continuing maintenance and upgrades here at the bunker, also with our ambitions for the summer of No Half Steppin'. We have a lot of plans and we have a whole lot that we want to get done, and we sure could use your assistance with a little bit of funds. Any donation you can make goes a long way, even if it's only a couple of dollars. So again, please become a partner of the Renegades of Puck. Now, I know you're here for the No Half Steppin' hockey coverage, so it's time for me to deliver the goods. It's operation number 638 for the Renegades of Puck. That's right, show number 638. And on this date in hockey history, the Nashville Preds currently find themselves in 5th place in the Central Division. They have played 76 games on the season. They have a record of 43, 28, 5, and 91 points, has them tied with the 4th place Dallas Stars, but they played one more game than the Dallas Stars, so therefore they are behind in the tiebreaker. They are currently 10 points behind the 3rd place Minnesota Wild, and they are 11 points behind the 2nd place St. Louis Blues. Currently sitting 10 points ahead of the Winnipeg Jets, 30 points ahead of the eliminated Chicago Blackhawks. Now, clinched positions from the Central Division. The Colorado Avalanche have not only clinched their position, but they have clinched first in the Central. The St. Louis Blues and the Minnesota Wild also have clinched playoff berths over the weekend. The Dallas Stars and the Nashville Preds are still highly competitive and leading in both wildcard spots. Let me update you on that, since that now officially is the most important race for the Nashville Predators. The Dallas Stars currently sit in the number 1 spot in the wild card with 91 points and 7 games remaining. And again, it is because games played, not points, because the Nashville Predators have the same amount of points at 91, but currently sit in the number 2 wild card spot with 6 games remaining. Now remember, both of these teams, Dallas and Nashville at 91 points, are currently in the Western Conference playoffs as wildcard teams. The Vegas Golden Knights are on the outside looking in and are 4 points behind both of those squads with 6 games remaining, while the Vancouver Canucks are 7 points behind both of those squads with 7 games remaining on the regular season. So for the Nashville Predators, what does this ultimately mean? Finishing in the number 1 wildcard spot would mean a best of 7 against the Nashville Predators' next opponent, the Calgary Flames. Finishing in the second overall wildcard spot would mean a best of 7 against the Colorado Avalanche, who are going to be the number 1 seed in the Western Conference and currently have 116 points and are 55-14-6. Now, the Calgary Flames are in first place in the Pacific Division and also have a fairly significant record. 46-20-9, 101 points is first overall in the Pacific Division. On the road, they are 23-11-2, and they have a goal differential of plus 80. In their most recent stretch of action, we go back to the 7th of April. It was a 4-2 win at San Jose. On the 9th of April, a 4-1 win at Seattle. On the 12th, a 5-3 win versus Seattle. On the 14th, a 6-1 loss versus the Vegas Golden Knights. And on the 16th, a 9-1 win versus the Arizona Coyotes. That's right, 9-1. They will be facing off against the Chicago Blackhawks in Chicago tonight before hopping a plane and coming into Nashville to face off against the Preds at Bridgestone Arena tomorrow. Now, the Preds and the Flames have met one time previously this season. They will meet one more time this season. All the way back on November the 2nd, the Nashville Predators scored a 3-2 victory in overtime in Calgary. UC Saros incredible, especially in the first period in this game, going 38 out of 40 overall. Duchesne picks up the overtime game-winning goal. Cunningham and Forsberg chip in with goals in regulation. These two teams will meet again on the 26th of April, wrapping up the regular season series and potentially could be on the verge of a best-of-7 series in the first round upcoming. For the Nashville Predators, once they do wrap up this game against the Calgary Flames, there will be just 5 games to go in the season. The Nashville Predators will be in Tampa Bay on Saturday and then back home to face off against Minnesota on Sunday. Calgary again on the schedule on the 26th, the 28th at Colorado, the 29th at Arizona. And we knew that it could come down to the final periods of the season for this Nashville Predators team when the season was first beginning. That Arizona game now is looking like it's going to be incredibly important. And considering what the Coyotes' record is, only having 49 points on the season, the Nashville Predators better be able to go in on the last day of the season and bank those 2 points, especially considering how tight and critical everything is seeming to be at this time. Injuries for the Nashville Predators. We have gotten that update on Luzon, and it is what we feared. He is listed as week to week with a lower body injury. I fear that we are not going to see him again this season. Did not hear what the exact injury is, and you never will at this time of year. McCarron is out day to day, listed at this time. Hopefully he can get back in the lineup here very soon. Good to see Glass up and getting an opportunity, but the Preds were playing much better hockey with McCarron in the lineup on a regular basis. Taking a look inside the numbers and the rankings between these two teams in this next matchup, the Calgary Flames have a list of impressive metrics, and it does start at goals for. 3.55 per game is 6th best in the NHL, while the Nashville Predators 3.18 are 12th best in the NHL. Goals against, Calgary is at 3rd at 2.49, while the Predators are at 14th at 2.93. When it comes to shots for, Calgary generates a ton of rubber on the net. 35.7 per game is 3rd overall in the NHL, while the Preds are at 22nd. In shots against, 29 against per game in Calgary is 11th best in the NHL, while the Preds are at 19th, giving up 31.9 per game. On the power play, the Nashville Predators do have the better metric and league ranking in this one category. 23.8% is 7th best in the NHL, converting 55 times on 231 opportunities. Now, the Calgary Flames power play is not far behind at 9th overall in the NHL, converting at 23.5%, 50 times out of 213 opportunities. The PK for Calgary significantly better than the Preds, though. 5th best in the NHL. They've only given up 36 power play goals on the season, while the Preds are 14th, and they have given up 52 power play goals on the season. Highly impressive and high-skilled individuals. Johnny Hockey, that's what they call Johnny Gaudreau. 36 goals and 69 assists for 105 points on the season. Tkachuk has 39 and 57 for 96. Lindholm also at 39 and 39 for 78. Mangiapone's 32 and 19 equals 51. Anderson 4 and 42 for 46. And in net, Markstrom has a record of 35, 15 and 8, a save percentage of .923, a goals against, average of .222. Flipping over and looking at the Nashville Predators stats, the captain Roman Josi still leads the team in scoring as he has done for the majority of the season. 20 goals and 68 assists equals out to 88 points. Matt Duchesne is at 39 and 38 for 77. It's looked like he was going to score number 40 several times now, but has not been able to capitalize yet. Forsberg is at 38 and 37 assists for 75 points. Ryan Johansson, 23 goals and 35 assists for 58 points. Granlund, 10 goals, 45 for 55. And 24 goals and 17 assists for 41 points. UC Saros, the record overall, 37, 24, and 3. A .920 save percentage and 2.58 goals against average. For the Nashville Predators, this is the close of a 5-game homestand. They have been able to defeat the two bad teams in the standings on this homestand, but they have barely shown any competition or compete level against the two playoff caliber teams so far on this homestand. What will it be in Game 5? The Nashville Predators desperately need these points to continue their momentum heading towards the playoffs. It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. Rebirth Sports, you can check out their work at rebirthsports.com. You can interact with them, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we sure do encourage each and every one of you to reach out and see exactly what Rebirth Sports can do for your operation. They are not just jersey makers. They are hockey tailors, and they can outfit your entire organization. They're great partners. They make a great product, and they are incredible people. You've seen me representing Rebirth Sports all across the hockey landscape, whether it is here locally in league play for the Mighty Drunks as I am skating and winning Stanley Keg after Stanley Keg, or if it is in tournament play or in charity events, or even on Lake Nokomis for the United States Pond Hockey Championships. Everywhere I go, everywhere I skate, everyone wants to know, where did you get those fine threads? And it's so easy to talk to everybody about it. It's Rebirth Sports. I love these guys so much. They are truly great people, and they have done a great job of supporting the Renegades of Puck. You see the jerseys on display all over the place. The High Council's wearing them everywhere, and you can be wearing one too. So check out Rebirth Sports today, rebirthsports.com. Now, let's get into that full game recap, and let's go all the way back to this date in hockey history, which was April the 17th of the year 2022, when the Nashville Predators were taking on the St. Louis Blues, the second of back-to-backs over the weekend, and we would see John Hines deploy his lines in the following way: Cousins, Johansson, and Cunnin, Forsberg, Granlund, and Duchesne, Trennan, Sissons, and Janot, Tolvanen, Glass, and Tomasino get another crack at it on the fourth line. Yossi and Fabro, Ekholm, and Carrier, Borowiecki, and Benning make up your defensive pairings, and UC Saros gets the start in net after winning the game the day before against Chicago. Okay, let's get into the game. 1:23 into the first period, and it's Cousins' shot that is stopped. Cunnin's rebound goes off of the post. A glorious scoring opportunity missed by the Nashville Predators here to open the game, but at 4:16, Cousins would get on the board with his 9th goal of the season, and it was Mark Borowiecki leading the rush and then getting in behind, getting to the dump first, and making a perfect feather pass from behind the net into the crease area for Cousins to finish off the Nashville Predators with a 1-0 lead over the St. Louis Blues on home ice. A just absolutely electric play by Mark Borowiecki. We are 7:10 into the first period, and UC Saros comes up with a save on Bortuzzo. It's the first shot on goal for the St. Louis Blues. Again, coming at 7:10 into the game. 7:19 of the first period. Duchesne has to be stopped by Binnington after splitting the D and getting his great scoring opportunity. 10:35, Saros comes up with a save on Tarasenko. 12:28, Duchesne beats Binnington on the rush, but Falk is able to clear the tuck-in attempt off of the goal line. Duchesne had everybody beat except the defenseman's blade on this one. 16:23 at the first period, UC Saros comes up with a save on Perron from the sharp angle. 17:35, Borowiecki's off the box. 2 minutes for interference. It was an absolutely hellhammer of a hit out there in the neutral zone, but unfortunately, the puck had already moved on. By the letter of the law, it is a penalty, but by the spirit of the game, I disagree with the call. Schenn would score his 23rd goal of this season, tying this one up at 1 apiece between the St. Louis Blues and Nashville Predators. It was a wrist shot from the high slot after the face-off win. It took exactly 6 seconds from the beginning of the power play till the execution and the score of the goal. We hit the intermission tied at 1 apiece, and the Nashville Predators are out shooting St. Louis 13-10. We are 1:11 into the second period, and Tarasenko's got his 33rd goal of the season, giving St. Louis a 2-1 lead. He puts the shoulder into Carrier to hold him off and then snipes the top corner. A big-time power forward move by Tarasenko, who has had a great career against the Nashville Predators. At 3:55 of the second period, Binnington's scramble survives Sissons' multiple attempts. 4:17 in the second, Binnington stops Granlund on the back post with a desperation toe, and it looked like Granlund had every opportunity to put this puck into the net, and they go back down the other direction, and at 4:24, just 7 seconds later, Rosen's got his first goal of the season, giving St. Louis a 3-1 lead. It was a top corner wrist shot snipe from the left circle off of the rush. At 8:15, Saros comes up with a save on Falk through traffic, and St. Louis is not only controlling the hard areas, they're controlling the entire game, and that's why at 9:29, Kairu's got his 21st goal of the season. Another top corner snipe, this time from the right circle off of the rush. UC Saros never should have been in this game, is now going off to the bench. 16 out of 20. St. Louis has a 4-1 lead halfway through the game. Big save Dave Riddick is now in net, but he is also suffering because at 12:10, Rosen's getting his second goal of the season, second goal of the game. Left circle snipe off of the rush. It's wash, rinse, repeat for the St. Louis Blues. It's 5-1 now. 12:49, it becomes 6-1 when Walker is wide open, crashing the slot for an easy goal, and it's becoming absolutely embarrassing and humiliating for anybody that's in the crowd watching this at this point. I hope for anybody skating on the home team at this moment, but it's 16:27. Schen's 24th makes it 7-1. Low glove side off of the rush. Cunnin would score his 13th goal of the season at 18:47, making it 7-2, and seeming like at least maybe that stops what this hellish second period has become. But then at 19:14, Kairu's got his 25th goal of the season, and at this point, it has just gotten absolutely silly. He has full control of the puck. There's not a Nashville Predator within several feet of him. He just stands there, and when he goes to release his shot, he misses it, and it just dribbles through the 5-hole and into the net. His 25th goal of the season, and that is just emblematic right there of everything the Nashville Predators have done in this second period. It is quite possibly the worst period in Nashville Predators history. It's quite possibly one of the worst periods in National Hockey League history. In 100 years, I think we just witnessed single-handedly the worst 20 minutes of hockey ever played. At the end of the second period, the St. Louis Blues are winning this game 8-2. I remind you, at the end of the first period, the game was 1-1. The Nashville Predators actually led 1-0 early in this game. They give up 7 goals in the second period. We go to the third period, and honestly, I didn't feel like taking notes, and none of you feel like hearing any more about it. 12:09, Fabro gets a garbage goal his second of the season. Forsberg, Duchesne do pick up the assist. The final score is 8-3 in favor of St. Louis. The Nashville Predators outshoot the St. Louis Blues 36-33. And I have got to tell you, there's not a single thing about this game that is acceptable. Yes, the St. Louis Blues are red hot. Yes, the St. Louis Blues are in second place in the Central Division, and they have 102 points on the season, but none of that makes a damn bit of difference. They were coming into your home rink after playing an incredibly taxing game just the day before, and you set them up for success. I actually declare this to be coaching malpractice. This game was over before it ever started the second everybody found out UC Saros was getting the start in net. We'll talk about that coming up on the show next. UC Saros in this game was 16 out of 24 goals against, and at no point in time did he look like the UC Saros that we have all come to know and expect in starting this game. At no point in time should he have been out there in this game. There are much more significant, important, and impactful games coming up here in the very near future, yet for some reason UC Saros was run out there to be run into the ground as if he hasn't already skated in enough games this season. Big Save Dave comes in. He fares no better, only 9 out of 13. He didn't look ready to go either. The goaltenders clearly did not have a communication plan from the team going into this game. Neither goaltender looked like they were prepared. Neither goaltender, frankly, looked like they knew what the hell they were doing out there on the ice. And that is highly unusual to see at the National Hockey League level. I got to tell you, it's not only a total disaster. I am labeling it as coaching malpractice. Did John Hines not learn anything from the loss to the Arizona Coyotes in the playoff series in the bubble when he ran UC Saros out there back-to-back? He's done it now multiple times, and I've got to tell you, I'm not a fan of it. I've never been a fan of it, and I don't want to see it happen any longer. If Big Save Dave Riddick is not competent and capable enough to get a start in a back-to-back scenario, then he should not be the backup goaltender of a National Hockey League team. Bring Connor Ingram up if you have no confidence to start your backup goaltender. Running your starting goaltender into the ground here at the end of the season, when at best you could be a 7 seed, it's coaching malpractice in every single way. Mastradamus was a goaltender for many years, and Mastradamus has a much better handle on this situation. So I'm going to let him take it over before I get a little bit too enraged about the scenario. But I'm coming back, and I'm going to cycle right back to coaching malpractice. You can definitely guarantee that. You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35. You can watch him right here on Renegades of Puck TV. He is, of course, the starting goaltender of the Renegades of Puck, the one and only Mastradamus.
Thank you very much, Charlie, for giving me the opportunity to get back on Renegades of Puck TV. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with this after such an abysmal performance. Did not know what words I could come up with for that performance against the St. Louis Blues on home ice, just getting absolutely boat raced. So I figured I'd take it in a different direction. We don't need to relive one occurrence that happened the other night against the St. Louis Blues. I'm here to talk about the trend of the Nashville Predators throughout this 2021-2022 season. A lot of talk lately has been where the Preds are finding their offense from. Philip Forsberg has gone cold. Matt Duchene hasn't scored as many goals. Tanner Jeannot hasn't scored that many goals. Roman Josi, obviously his Norris Trophy winning performance this season, he's gone a little bit cold here as of late. Everybody's wondering where the goal scoring is going to come from for this team to make the playoffs. Well, I'm here to tell you, whoever's wondering about the goal scoring needs to just take a step back and address the more troubling issue with the Nashville Predators, and that's how many goals they're giving up. Okay? This team is not a team that's going to beat you on talent. That's never was going to be a team that's going to beat you on talent alone. They're going to beat you by absolutely punishing you throughout the game and grinding games out. That is the identity of this team. We've talked about it for the last 2 seasons, the herd line and how they set the tone. They are the identity of this Nashville Predators team. The problem is the Preds are giving up goals left and right, and they don't have the talent offensively to compete on a night-in, night-out level to score 3, 4, 5 goals a night, like some other teams like Florida who can outscore you, Colorado, teams like that, Toronto. Okay? If that means the Preds become a quote-unquote boring team to watch, I got news for you. Winning is never boring. If you have a winning formula, you keep pounding that winning formula into the ground until you stop winning. The Preds right now are in a very troubling trend. Why have they struggled lately? You can point out to a million reasons. One thing that is consistent is that the Preds have a very poor winning percentage when they give up 3 or more goals. You see a lot of those other teams I mentioned earlier, they can still beat you when they give up that many goals. The Preds have surrendered 3 or more goals 40 times this season out of 76 games. They've won just 9 times. 9 wins out of 40 games when they've given up 3 or more goals. Reverse that around. 36 times they've given up 2 or fewer goals. Their record in those 36 games, guys, 34-1-1. This team is virtually unbeatable when they give up 2 or less goals. And I think a lot of people forget how good UC Saros was early on this season. He was stealing games left and right when this team did not deserve that fate. They went on a 4-game winning streak after they started the season 1-4. Little tidbit. 1-4, all 4 losses, they gave up 3 or more goals. They went on a 4-game winning streak. All 4 of those games, they gave up 2 or fewer goals. Large thanks to UC Saros. They depended so much on UC Saros to bail them out that they have let all kinds of breakaways, odd man rushes, guys just skating down the middle of the ice with no opposition whatsoever, skating in on UC Saros all the time. It's a trend that is finally catching up with them. Now, did they build enough good credit to make the playoffs? It remains to be seen. We got a couple weeks left in the season, 6 games left. Very tough opponents, obviously, these next 5 games. They're going to have to win a couple of these games if they expect to hold off Vegas and potentially Los Angeles come playoff time. Charlie, you and I go back a long ways. Rangers fans, we know about the New Jersey Devils back in those days. New Jersey may be considered a boring team, but they were also a winning franchise with a couple Stanley Cups to their credit as well. I don't care how the Preds win. Nobody should care how the Preds win as long as they're winning. The winning formula is keep the puck out of your net. Plain and simple. End of story. Charlie, back to you.
You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35. You can watch him right here on Renegades of Puck TV. If it happens between the pipes, it's within his domain, and I sure do appreciate Nostradamus jumping in the trenches and giving his opinion and commentary on everything that happened with UC Saros and the goaltending situation over the weekend. Strong Style Fitness is an incredible partner to the Renegades of Puck, and I encourage each and every one of you to go check out strongstylefit.com or reach out over social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I can tell you from speaking with Strong Style Fitness that there is going to be new workouts coming soon, but there are already 150 workouts on demand set up for you, completely donation-based and ready for you to enjoy today. Whether it's your first stretch or you're throwing iron like a pro, Tracy's got you covered. A certified personal trainer that's dedicated her life and her work to making you feel better, and get healthy. As everyone's out there trying to extract every single dollar from your pocket to help you with your health and your fitness, here's a personal trainer that believes in her work so much, she's made it available to you completely for free and donation-based. I've seen the results, I've experienced the results, and I know each and every one of you can do the same. Please, go to Strong Style Fit. Give some stick taps, love, and respect to that incredible organization and operation. I want to talk more about coaching malpractice, and I'm going to keep coming back to it. I've got to tell you, you can come back from coaching malpractice. Coaching malpractice is not a death sentence by any means, but it is without a doubt the highest level of bad decision making that a head coach can make, especially when it comes to the professional level. Rarely do I break out the term coaching malpractice, but I am levying the charges against John Hines for starting UC Saros in this second of back-to-backs. Unnecessary, and you learn nothing from the experience in the bubble, and unfortunately, you're running your starting goaltender into the ground right here at the most critical time of the season. You can come back from coaching malpractice, and before we head out of the bunker today, I'll make sure I leave you on a positive and exactly how you can rebound from it. But for now, we're going to continue picking this thing apart, and we're going to continue making the case on exactly what the hell happened over the weekend with the Nashville Predators, and I need Sean C. Smith in the trenches to do that. Intel that you need to know. Sean C. Smith is easily one of the best, and I appreciate him taking the time and sharing his opinions and his commentary right here. You can find him on Twitter at SCSOTF. You can check out his work at ontheforecheck.com.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegades, it's Sean C. Smith. And kind of an ugly loss today. And normally I have been flipping a coin to determine whether or not we're going to start by talking about the good or the bad when it comes to losses. But there will be no coin flip today, because I feel like somehow I would manage to lose that coin flip, and I'm not willing to take that risk. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to say this. I said it on Twitter. I'm going to say it here again. Yes, the Predators are in the middle of the playoff chase. But tonight was about Terry Crisp, and that's where I want to start, because the team decided to celebrate Terry Crisp, the longtime legendary broadcaster for the Predators, the Stanley Cup winning coach, and the Stanley Cup winning player. This man has just been outstanding wherever he's gone, and they decided to honor him tonight with his impending retirement. And one of the things they did was give out shirts with his visage on it that said his very well-known quote, "Bring the passion." Now, here's the thing. Terry Crisp always brought the passion, always brings the passion no matter what he's doing. I can remember just running into him downstairs in Bridgestone Arena when they had one of those kids club skate on Bridgestone ice events. My son was down there. Terry Crisp walked by, just saw a little 5-year-old boy, and maybe he was 4 at the time, but he just picked him up and said, "Let's take a picture, young man." And I'm going to tell you, that's who Terry Crisp is. Didn't know who my kid was, didn't know who I was at all at the time. My son wasn't going around looking for pictures. It was he just happened to be walking around, and there was Terry Crisp. And as Terry and Pete have said recently, they're thinking about their legacy of all the children they have raised. Terry Crisp brings the passion. But unfortunately, it seemed like the Predators, especially in the second period, did not bring the passion. And here's the thing. This is where you have to temper your desire as a fan to be excited about what your team's doing at all times, versus where I kind of have to draw the line and say, look, I'm trying to cover this team, and I'm trying to be realistic about what's going on. It wasn't good. And you heard Roman Josi after the game saying, look, didn't think the first period was that bad. It wasn't. The first period wasn't that bad. But the second period, we were embarrassed, is what he said. And that's the reality. Is this was an embarrassing loss for a team that's trying to say, hey, we belong in the playoffs. We belong in the bracket tournament that's going to lead us to the Stanley Cup. And realistically, I know I overuse that word a lot, realistically, they did not look like a team that deserved that tonight. And I don't think anyone on the team would disagree with me. Now, that realistically is not who the team is every night, and that's the good news. But at least as far as this game against the St. Louis Blues was concerned, they did not look like they were going to be contending for any kind of championship. Now, There's several more games left. I don't think this is a signal that the Predators are going to miss the playoffs. I think they'll be in the playoffs just fine. The question is who they decide to be over the next few games here at the end of the season are probably going to dictate who they're going to be in the playoffs. And unfortunately, someone who's come in and given the team a lot of energy, Jeremy Lauzon, has been ruled out week to week with a lower body injury. And that's not a good look, but at the same time, there are plenty more people who can come in and play defense. And I don't think Lauzon being out was the reason this team struggled. I don't think UC Saros getting the back-to-back start was the reason this team struggled. You have to look at this. The Blues were coming off of a back-to-back as well. This was their second game out of 2. This is the Predators' second game out of 2. There's no reason it should have been that lopsided. The Predators weren't bringing the passion. They weren't putting the big hits on people they needed to put on. They weren't making the Blues fight for every inch of ice they gained. And realistically, if I'm going to talk about something I've noticed over the past few games, it's been a problem, it's passing. Now you're probably like, what does passing have to do with the Predators' identity? Crisp, clean passes, quick passes that meet their mark as quickly as possible across the ice are what really helps teams get down the ice quickly. It really helps break up defense when they're trying to figure out which way they need to commit to a play. And the Predators' passes, you saw it against the Edmonton Oilers. They have not been crisp. The Oilers picked off so many passes, and you saw it happen against the Blues. These passes are either they're off their mark. You've got guys trying to stop them with their skates is how far off these passes are. And unfortunately, teams that are headed toward the playoffs are going to pick those passes off. They're going to be there quickly. They're going to clog those passing lanes, and they're going to make your life miserable if you can't make your passes go where they need to go and you can't get them there quickly. And that's the biggest problem I've seen. Yeah, you can say, look, there was no physicality. There weren't any big hits. There weren't even a lot of penalties in this game. But the problem wasn't all that. That's a nice touch of the Predators' identity. But if they're just leaving these pucks on these passes wide open for the other team to take advantage of, they're going to keep getting taken advantage of, and they're going to keep playing in a way that looks like they're not bringing the passion. That's really what I have to say about this game, and I'm going to send it back over to you, Charlie.
You can find him on Twitter at SCSOTF. You can check out his work on theforecheck.com. You can watch him right here on Renegades of Puck TV. He's my assistant captain for a reason, because he comes hard and strong with the opinions and the analysis. I sure do appreciate Sean C. Smith. You know who else I appreciate jumping in the trenches and being an incredible partner to the Renegades of Puck? It is, of course, Stripe Digital Solutions. I could not do any of this without the assistance of Stripe Digital Solutions. The advice that I get is absolutely imperative, and I follow along each and every time. You cannot break through the walls that exist today if you're a small business without some assistance out there, and Stripe Digital Solutions can help you with all of that. Please go to stripedigitalsolutions.com or reach out over social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I can give you plenty of examples. You've already heard them, and I'm going to keep talking about them. The logo on the wall behind me, the crest on the jerseys that you see that I wear here in the trenches, the t-shirts that we have, renegadesofpuck.com, our social media plan and brand building, all of that is assisted by Stripe Digital Solutions. My business has been helped incredibly, and I know that yours can be as well. So please reach out to Brandy today and let them know that you're interested in getting involved with them. Trust me, they can help you. I know. I have seen the results. Let me talk to you real quick about the Renegade Analytics Desk and Brian Baston. I'm not going to. What's the point of worrying about the box score in this game? It's atrocious. It's not even worth talking about. Brian's got the magic numbers, the updated playoff numbers, and he's also got some analytics for you over at the Renegade Analytics Desk. So without further delay, let me kick it over to Brian Baston over at the Renegade Analytics Desk. You can find him on Twitter at Brian Baston. You can check out his charts at ontheforecheck.com. He's got the numbers you need to know and the charts you need to see. He's the one and only Brian Baston.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. Hey there, this is Brian Baston from the Renegades Analytic Desk, and unfortunately, despite the outcome of the game tonight, I still got to give you your playoff update, even if it might not be entirely good news, so let's get into it. As you well know, the Predators were, well, let's just say stomped by the St. Louis Blues tonight at 8-3 in a game that looked good in the first period, was record-setting in the second period, just not in the way we would have preferred, and just kind of the last gasp of a dying animal in the third period. adding in those 2 goals. But and that's not the beginning of the bad news for the Predators and Predators fans as it comes to the playoffs. So obviously probably all of you saw, just as the Predators game was done, the Wild and the Sharks went to overtime, and the Wild ended up winning behind a really impressive effort from Kevin Fiala, former Predator, of course. His line, alongside another former Predator, Freddie Gaudreau, powered the Minnesota Wild all game long, despite the fact they struggled a little bit, and they were able to clinch their playoff spot and add another 2 points distance between themselves and the Nashville Predators for finishing in the top 3 of the Central. The Vegas Golden Knights did not play, so Nashville was unable to gain any points in their playoff magic number that way. And with the loss tonight, Dallas, when they play their next game, I believe tomorrow, they have the chance now, with even just 1 point, to pass Nashville for the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference, which is not a good sign, because that second wildcard spot is pretty much locked in to be against the Colorado Avalanche, a team that looks pretty much unstoppable. So that is your playoff magic number update. Hopefully we can give you some more good news in the next game, and the Predators can take this time to regather, kind of forget about this game and get back on the ice. And let's see if they can clean up a little bit, or maybe all of the issues that we saw tonight.
He's got the numbers you need to know and the charts you need to see. He's the one and only Brian Baston from ontheforecheck.com. You can catch him on Twitter at Brian Baston. You can watch him right here on Renegades of Puck TV. Stick taps, love, and respect to Brian for jumping in the trenches with me right here in the bunker. Let's go ahead and, Unlikable's Corner, knock it off over there. Ryan Suter going ahead and falling down right before we close out the show. Also in Unlikable's Corner, let's see, there's Mike Fisher, there's PK Subban, all the guys that the fan base seems to not like, even though Mike Fisher was here for one of the most exciting periods in history and was the captain when the Preds won a 3-overtime game. He was a pretty big part of that. PK Subban just won 2 division titles, a President's Trophy, and went to a Stanley Cup final as a Nashville Predator. And Ryan Suter was a part of the early playoff years, but for some reason the fan base just doesn't seem to like those guys very much. But they'll still have representation here in the bunker and in the trenches, as well as all former Nashville Predators and anyone who laced them up at some point. You've earned my respect, no doubt about that. Let's go ahead and close this episode out. There's no more analysis to talk about. Listen, that's one of those, if this was halfway through the season, we would say something like, burn the tape, throw it away, move on. There's always another game. But listen, we are down to just a couple of games to go in the regular season. The Nashville Predators are fighting for their playoff life. You cannot have moments where there is coaching malpractice. You cannot have the leader from the top making a decision that leads to a disaster that everybody knows is going to unfold right before your very eyes. On Terry Crisp Appreciation Day, of all things, you rolled out a goaltender twice in a row in less than 24 hours. UC Saros has shown that he can handle this at times, but there was no reason to do it right here, and it certainly ended up costing a game. UC Saros ends up giving up 4 goals before sitting on the bench, exactly where he should have been sitting in the first place. Now, for John Hynes, has he made mistakes as the Nashville Predators head coach? He certainly has. We've questioned some of his line combinations. We've questioned some of his personnel moves, decisions, and even his in-game decisions. But we have rarely ever gone to the level of accusing Coach John Hynes of coaching malpractice. In this scenario, I am 100% accusing him of that. That goes far beyond half-stepping. That was a conscious decision made by a leader that led to his entire organization failing right in front of all of our eyes. And who could have predicted it? Every single person that saw UC Saros was going to get the start. Now, I told you as we weave this coaching malpractice tale throughout the entire episode right here that there is a way to come back. Coaching malpractice is not a fireable offense, as many of you seem to think it is. You really think you're going to fire your head coach with 5 games to go in the season when you're currently actually in a playoff spot? That is seriously some of the most asinine analysis that I've seen to date. John Hynes is guilty of coaching malpractice in this scenario. Can John Hynes recover from that? 100%. Can the Nashville Predators recover from losing 8-3 to the St. Louis Blues on home ice at a critical time in the season? Yes, they most certainly can. Is this game going to be one of those turning point moments where 2 months from now we're looking back and going, do you remember when the Preds gave up 7 goals in 1 period and that lit a fire under their asses that got them moving through the first round, second round, and here we are today? Is it one of those moments, or is it a harbinger? Is it the canary in the coal mine? Is it the first sign that this Nashville Predators team may not even be playing in another 2 weeks? It's up to the Nashville Predators, it's up to the head coaches to come out and bring a whole new level of jam against the Calgary Flames. You may end up facing off against this very team in a best-of-7 series, and you will face off against them at least one more time. They're big, they're bad, they're tough. It's everything that you thought you were, Nashville. Now you're going to find out what it really looks like. And if you're not ready to answer the bell against the Calgary Flames, they're going to stomp a mud hole in your ass, walk it dry, and leave you exited from the playoffs before you even get the chance to face them in the best-of-7. You can come back from coaching malpractice, and the Nashville Predators have shown they can recover and get things going in the right direction plenty of times before. Will this be that moment?